Pasha Pavo, thank you for tuning. All right, we back. We back. I've been meaning to bring this one to you for a little while. I saw this article. I posted it on the Facebook um, a while back, a couple weeks ago, maybe a week or two ago, and I just been kind of had it in the back of my mind, doing some other things, life. So I wanted to revisit it, and as you can see from the topic, we're talking about an article today. The title of the article was North Carolina tumbles to lowest freedom ranking since turn of century, right? And some people are gonna not even be keen to look into that. Some people are gonna read the article. I'm gonna pull it up here in a moment. Thank you for tuning. And go ahead, like, share, subscribe. You got some comments, drop them in the comment below. Let's build. But the point of the matter is, why we do things. I appreciate everybody that's allowed me to spend time with them, conversate with them. Some of them even get to the point where they'll say, I'm tired. I don't like being feel like an experiment. And I mean, to a degree, when you're observing your environment, I mean, you're always basically conducting experimentation, Q&A, observation. Like I don't know, where I come from, you got to study your surroundings 24/7 period. Ain't nothing, or let me say, everything is subject to change at any given moment. So it's just natural for some of us. But the benefit is, learning from one person, right, helps you understand how to share and teach another person or build with another person better, right? When you're talking to that one person on Facebook and you're spreading information with them, giving them, because you watch them complain for 7 weeks on Facebook about the same topics or something, and then you come offering a solution. The song may say, don't save her, they don't want to be saved, she don't want to be saved. But the point of the matter is, you got to give the opportunity, because it's not to be looked at as you saving her or him or whatever the individual is. It's, you have to do this as an investment in the community future. And when I say community, you could think about your household, you could think about your neighborhood, you can think about your city, your state, whatever, right? So if you observe that person needing help, like they may not realize they have a mental illness, right? But if you observe them spiraling in their mental illness and you don't offer assistance, then you're just as guilty as the one who poisoned them, right? So when you give the water to the thirsty and they tell you you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink, and they block you, well, that's on Facebook, they block you, they don't want to hear the truth, whatever you telling them, they block you, go run, they you know what I mean? Realize that, come to YNet7 and click the subscribe button, because what we're going over here is that mental health awareness and that emotional intelligence that's going to help you understand what you're looking at in the other person, and also keeping your chin up yourself when they come to gaslight you and try to get narcissistic with you and shame you into feeling like something's wrong with you for being true. Because by the time they find out, it's always too late, right? Everybody's suffering then unnecessarily because of the art of seduction, and they didn't realize they were being seduced. So today we're gonna get into this. Let's get into it, because I think you gotta look at it like Are you or are you not in control of you? You know, is it your church? Is it your Bible, your Quran, or whatever book you hold, right? Forming your mental connections, right? Is it your government? For some of you, is it your parents? Are you the 50-year-old male still spending 48 hours a week with mother? Right? You know, what is it that's controlling you? Because if we all sat down here in the chat right now, I'm willing to bet 75% of the people, if they're honest with themselves, what's controlling their life is something from the past and not something from the future that they wish to manifest. I'm not saying you didn't go to college so that you can think you could be improved. I'm saying the reason why you felt like that was a choice for you is because something from your past, right? You saw somebody on the block get shot, and you were like, "Hey, if I go to school, I can." Your mother told you that if you go to school, you can get a good job, and you don't have to be out there in that environment, right? So you built your whole life around that, and then got shot at the gas station in a good neighborhood in the crossfire because you can't run from the mental illness of the United States citizens. See, because you left, and I'm not saying you're not supposed to leave environment, I'm saying leave to go get reinforcements if you're gonna leave. And that reinforcements may be you need to go get somewhere peaceful to do research study. You need to go here and get what you call money and come back. You need to go here and get the network to be connected to do A, B, C, and D. But you left thinking that you got away, that you was fleeing from whatever it was you was fleeing, like you was gonna escape, right? See, that's why many people don't like me, because I never left. You can change locations, but when in today's technology, you're omnipresent. You're sitting on your Facebook right now in your home. Some of you sitting on the toilet taking a shit. Some of you laying down in your bed and you caught the 10th scroll of your thumb, and you're sitting here spending the first 8 minutes with me. I appreciate you. So what I'm pointing out to you is that you omnipresent too. But what are you paying attention to? What are you looking for out of all the things you can look for in this world? What are you doing? What are you using the $5 billion Facebook platform for? Post pictures of little babies falling off a couch so you can laugh at the toddler, so that you can feel better about your oppression, because you done blocked it out of your mind that you're being oppressed, that you're a slave to addiction to currency, a cocaine infused ink piece of paper, that you're being manipulated by the misconduct of tides and sin, that they took all of your history from you. Don't give a fuck what you look like. They changed it. You don't know who you are. You don't know who you want to be because you don't know where you're supposed to go. You just know what they told you. And at what point do you become tired of that and say you had enough? You can't breathe the air around you. They're manipulating the air. They're manipulating the water. You can't take a shower without osmosis of your environment trying to kill you from a unseen enemy. Where is your safety? If it's not even within you. So let's take a look at this real quick. So here's the article. Bum, bum, bum. The source is jdnews.com. I think this came out on the 24th. Yeah, 24th. And it had a nice little map here for you, right? And in that map, it shows the freedom in the 50 states overall freedom rankings. Apparently, they have New Hampshire listed as first, on down to Hawaii's 49th, California's 48th, New York 50th. Now, per this, I'm those that know, I'm originally from Wilmington, Delaware, is where I was born. They're at 44. Now, North Carolina, per this article, is currently 24th. So I guess that was a slight improvement in moving from Delaware to North Carolina years ago. But the interesting thing is when you read this article, it says, and if you're not on my Facebook page, go on my Facebook page, Pasha Pyro, and get the you can get this image. I shared it. And or if you're not, go ahead and put Pasha Pyro in on Facebook and let's build. All right. So the interesting thing, it says freedom for North Carolinians or Carolinians, North Kakalakis, as compared to other states, has fallen according to a new report. North Carolina ranked 24th in the country in the recently released Freedom in the 50 States from the Cato Institute. However, 15 years ago, it was ranked number 13. So you may feel like 15 years can fly by or it's a long time, but North Carolina's dropped 11 places, 11 states. And then it says, and since the turn of the century, has never ranked so far away from the top. So basically, it's at its lowest point in almost a quarter century. Now, I've had some conversations with people about this. Some people are able to celebrate, their states being in the top 10, 15, which is good, right? My question is, when I see a map like this, it's not about, is my state number 1 or number 5 of the top 3? It's why isn't freedom distributed equally, but all of y'all out here running around talking about y'all free as fuck? See, because once you realize you ain't free as free is, you might want to start to invest your free time and your free will into your freedom. See, I make music. I understand why you want to come home and turn up. Because your life is fucked up. And the music helps you numb the pain. That's why I make it. Now, once you get that far in your mind, you can say, well, what do we do to replace what's causing the pain so I don't need the drug relief anymore? Song, a hip hop song, a new age record, or your favorite Rocky Road ice cream. I need the minds that are ready to make change. I need the transformative people to rock with me. That's who I'm looking for. That's who YNet 7 is. And that's why it may or may not have shown up on your timeline. Now, going back to the article, Cato's physical policy recommendations in the report say cut spending on hospitals, possibly through privatization, which is far above the national average, and build up the rainy day fund and trim individual income taxes further is their recommendation. Regulatory recommendations are to eliminate all rate regulations on property and casualty insurance and fully free direct-to-customer auto sales at the same time, which could be dangerous. And recommendations for personal freedoms are pass constitutional carry to expand gun rights. I mean, I know some of y'all may be waiting for constitutional carry. It's probably because for entertainment purposes, you may not be aware that any state that put a license on anything charges a fee for it. You know, you're able to do that shit with impunity without the license. As you know, entertainment purposes, I'm no attorney. So what I'm saying to you is, you know, when you look into like the research done, I don't know how to pronounce these names properly, but it's Shanto, Shanto, last name Iyengar, and Donald R. Kinder, for example. You know, they've done a lot of good things, and they publicized the psychological processes that shape individuals' political preferences. I mean, why do you think you keep supporting stuff that's low-key bad for you? Right? Because when it says that, here's the map again. Look at your state. Tell me what state you in the comments, and put the number of your ranking in your state in the most free, in the freedom ranking in the comments below. So if your state, if all the states ain't equally free, then that means your state done let the politicians talk you into being number 24 in North Carolina's case. So everybody in North Kakalaki has been brainwashed and is acquiesced and is okay and is comfortable with being only half free as the number one state, New Hampshire. And I get it at the same time. How do you measure freedom, right, to begin with? And I get that question. And basically what this done, if you look at the situation here, what they did is they based this data off of, let me give you the exact wordplay they used. It was like based off of the policies and shit, personal and business type shit, over 230 policies and all that good stuff from the states. Like they just matched it up. So it's not like the perfect ranking of freedom, but it's very consistent across the board what they're trying to measure in all the states. And again, for me, the question when seeing this is not how do you measure freedom? It's how are we able to be in 2023 and there is some sort of measurable difference in freedom between North Carolina and Delaware and the people suffering in California at number 48, right? Minnesota at number 41, Wyoming number 16. How can there be a difference if you feel like you are from the land of the free, the home of the free? You see, somebody lied to you and it wasn't me. So it says the state recently passed a budget, grows the rainy day fund balance by $125 million to just under $5 billion by the end of 2023-2024. So North Carolina sitting on $5 billion. They said they need more. They should get more. How much you got? How much your grandma got? How much you getting tomorrow when you go to work? The report says the state was 13th on personal freedom and recently as recently as 2015, but checks in this year at number 33. Now remember, this number that they gave here is the overall freedom, so they got it broken down into categories like education, personal freedom, stuff, business, stuff like that, right? So the report says that the state was 13th on personal freedom as recently as 2015. This year is 33. We're gonna go over why I'm looking at some data here, and I'm gonna review it with you, and we can talk about this. So personal freedom, you in North Carolina went from being 13th ranked in personal freedom to 33rd. Now, the fucked up part is, this is why, people didn't understand. I guess you could call it anger, you could call it confusion, you could call it disappointment. When I posted, these motherfuckers in Charlotte was really great go march. Now, I'm not a fan of marching for anything, but they were really great go march on the Carolina Panthers stadium because the fucking football team has a losing record. This is why American mentalities, new age artists like myself, we just don't get the United States citizens. They are programmed to go march on the NFL football team stadium because their team has a losing record. Meanwhile, their own state's personal freedom ranking fell from 13th to 33rd, and nobody says a motherfucking word. But you want respect. North Carolina has grown to be the 9th largest state, the report says. Despite large in-migration, North Carolina has eschewed massive controls on the housing supply. The report says the state has one of the best criminal justice regimes in the South. Now pay attention to this statement. The report says the state has one of the best criminal justice regimes in the South, though nationally it is only 18th on this front. So think about that for a moment. I know we know the wordplay and the history and everything, but we're talking about today. Remember, you got time to go fucking march on the damn Carolina Panthers stadium for a losing record, but your criminal justice system is only 18th. And the fact that it's one of the best in what they call the South. So if your best is only ranked 18th, what the fuck do you got time to worry about football for? And before you come down too hard on the U.S. citizens of North Carolina, what about your state? All y'all doing some dumbass shit too, because there's only one number one, that's New Hampshire. Number 2 is Florida, and look at how fucked up Florida is. So if you can say how fucked up Florida is, if you know anybody from Florida and can tell you how that life is about, what the hell do you think California is like at number 48? But you got time. You got time for all this other shit. Right? You talking about the leaders in your community doing work. Because y'all had a fucking potluck and business expo, and the only people that showed up was the people that showed up with their expo tables. Right? That's putting in work for the community, right? You haven't done nothing with the mental health. You don't do nothing. You haven't put in a destination. Nobody's going nowhere. That's transactional leadership. That's how come a state goes from being number 13th to 24. That's how come personal freedoms go from 13 ranking to 33rd, because y'all keep supporting the same leaders. They're getting the benefits from controlling y'all asses, driving y'all over the cliff like the Pied Piper. And the government, for entertainment purposes, is just sitting back, getting fat, taking all the resources. They're taking all your labor. They're taking all your production. They're taking your water. They're taking your minerals. They're taking everything. And then they're coming out telling you by 2030, you're going to own nothing and be happy, even though that's the way it's been. You just didn't know it. You didn't know that you didn't own your car. You didn't know that you'll never own the home that you have a mortgage for. Because you don't know what the word tenant means. And you don't know that when you pay off your damn mortgage, you become the tenant on a deed, which makes you like you living in an apartment again. And that's why if you don't pay your quote unquote taxes, you don't have a place to go, even though you say you own your house. Because you're too busy marching on the football stadium for a losing record that you don't even realize that you are a losing record. And then when you see people like me attempting to do the best we can to help make a difference, you wanna gang stalk me. You wanna all come together 50 deep against me. I'm one man. I'm one little God. Y'all want to come 200 people connected in a network to suppress Pasha because you appreciate getting fucked over. But you want respect. Now let's look at this here, right? In North Carolina, in the early 2000s, right? The change in state budgets. How did we get there? How do you do this? Because y'all listening to the wrong people. That's why you saw me do the video on, the clean shaven faces and the suits and all that bullshit, right? And how y'all addicted to that. And it's fucking y'all up because then y'all believe whatever they say, but you didn't know the importance of it then, right? But here you go. So these people come in the early 2000s in North Carolina, they witness a shift in spending priorities towards education and infrastructure. Sounds like it might be a good thing, right? You would think it would be easy for one to say, hey, spending money on education is going to be good for the community. That's because you don't understand manipulation. Right? You too busy trusting the suits and the clean shaven faces and the smiles and shit. Right? So what happens is increased government influence comes from education investments. So in the 2000s, they said, we're going to spend more money on education and infrastructure. We're going to build this bridge. We're going to call it 485. It took these motherfuckers 20 years to build a damn highway around the city. No lie. Now, I get it. We from up top. We come with a different energy because you can't shut down traffic for 20 years in New York City. You can't shut down commerce for 20 years in Philadelphia. You can't do that in northern Delaware. It's too costly. So you create a process to get it done quicker than 20 years. It took them 20 years to build 485 around the city. So that's 20 years of government infringement, government spending, your tax dollars being sucked up for 20 years for something that probably could have been done in 5 to 10 at worst case scenario. So when you look at it, let's go to education. Increased investment in education not only it gives the government opportunity in shaping educational policies. Oh, what you mean, Pasha? Oh yeah, y'all wanted the budgets. Y'all got the budgets. Now you fucking talking about why your kids ain't learning nothing in school 10, 15, 20 years later. Now y'all mad. All your kids going to school is going to school filming shootouts at the classroom and fights with the teacher. They done changed the math curriculum from math to something you don't even know what the fuck you're looking at as the parent. Common Core math. No, y'all was happy because they said budget, right? You didn't realize that meant control and power. That meant they tell you what's important for your future, what you need to know and or don't know, which basically controls the population's ability to be sustainable and independent because you gave them authority over what your kids learn for 18 years and conditioned them to believe what's important. Why? Because they got you on the plantation, but you're too busy feeling like you're not a slave because they keep investing in slave movies that show them in the cotton field. So you watch the slave movie about them in the cotton field, and then you feel like things done changed because you in the apartment on the first floor and you go to work 9 to 5 at a place you feel like you chose, and you feel like you can leave when you want to, and they give you a paycheck that they take 80% of between your church taxes when you buy something, taxes on the taxes that you bought something for, etc., etc., etc. So you left with 20%, but because you don't see the same similarity as being out in the cotton field, you don't realize you clocking in at the cotton field every day anyway. But when Pasha tell you acting like a slave, you get mad at me because I just try to free you. So yeah, we need some more people in the different industries like me. Like I was telling Hart Coast about himself being the Harriet Tubman in the music industry in the last video. Go check that out. You see? So now you got potential infringement on your freedom of individual choice in education. They tell you what you can learn. Go over there and look at the people on We Believe podcast having a conversation about the universities. You know, I'm in the comments like, well, shit, tell the fucking universities what the people approved them to teach. No, we get the budgets from, you know, if they give the budget for this and they'll be able to do that. No. If you feel like they taking your tax dollars, then you tell them what you ordering. I don't remember the last time I ain't been to McDonald's in a long time, but I can't remember the last time I went with someone at McDonald's and they said, hey, I'm just going to give you $25 and you just tell me what I can have in the brown paper bag. Just give it to me. I didn't think it worked like that last time I checked. So why do you let it work like that for you today with the most important things, your quality of life? the resources that it takes for you to survive and be human and be creative and function. Your future, your children's future, your sons and daughters' future. Right? Hold on, I got notes. I got notes. I come prepared. Because I don't want you to sit there and say, oh, that's his opinion. No, I'm not giving you no fucking opinion. I'm giving you straight truth. You can go do the research yourself. I even quote sources for you just to help you out. Because the first thing they're going to tell you is, oh, well-funded public education system is essential for providing equal opportunities. Well, obviously, if we go back to the map that showed the ranking of the freedom per state, the fucking opportunities ain't equal. But you believe the suit and the clean-shaven face and the smile. Because they make you feel so good when they lying to your face. You feel so good. But when you see the beard on Posh, you're like, oh shit, that motherfucker's probably he lying to me. He lying. Whatever he say, I don't believe. Because that's how you've been trained. But when you look at all your great scientists, most of them had the craziest fucked up hair, wild unkept beards, because when you reach a certain level of enlightenment, that bullshit don't fucking matter. You only care about your hair because you care about what someone thinks about you. You run around shaving your face off, you cutting a piece of you off to appease somebody else, to help someone else's insanity be comfortable. You are destroying yourself. When you think about it, if it wasn't supposed to grow, it wouldn't be there. So now, would you cut your finger off to make someone trust you more? What's the difference between cutting your beard to go work in corporate America and dress business casual and cutting your thumb off? What's the difference? One bleeds, one doesn't. You haven't learned the purpose of your hair on the body. You haven't learned the crystalline content of hair is similar to the crystalline content that he used in memory chips and computers. You don't know the amplification of energies and the spiral magnification of the antenna, but you always talking about frequencies and vibes. And then you cut off your antenna and you wondering why you feel disconnected from what you call God that's already inside of you. See, when you tell the truth, people call you rude because they like pacification. See, it's a difference between rude and real. And let's get back to this message here. Now the infrastructure shit, right? Let me give you the infrastructure. Hold on. I've been stepping the game up a little bit for you here. I got some little visuals. Try and make this more exciting experience for you to watch. You know what I mean? And if you got any fucking complaints, if I make a mistake and the audio ain't right, or my guests make a mistake and they didn't click the right button or something, and their audio ain't the best that you used to, but you can still hear them, then shut the fuck up and get the message. We working on the shit. Either that, or you get your buddies together, get your teams together, and write us a check. I'm sure we could do some really nice things with $500,000, $100 million, like $1 million worth of games. Shout out to Gilly. We could do some great work with that too, right? Okay, but again, that might be, who gonna invest in truth, right? Okay. Now, here I got a little infrastructure picture for you. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all wanted bridges, you want light transit trains, rail cars, you want this shit, right? And they said, okay, we're gonna give it to you. But see, infrastructure development often involves increased regulatory oversight. Then y'all crying about gentrification. Then you crying about different restrictions on your individual freedom. So when it says personal freedom dropped from 13th to 33rd in North Carolina, do you think it's a coincidence that while personal freedom was dropping, or excuse me, while infrastructure and educational investment was going up, personal freedom fell? Is that coincidental to you? Or do you see that impacts, environmental impacts assessments for and zoning laws might be seen as constraints on personal property rights? Oh, but you can't say they doing anything wrong because you gave them permission when you said you wanted the bridge. You gave them permission when you asked them to put the toll lane in so that you could feel better because your ass go to a corporate America job and you feel like if you spend $10 a week to drive in the fast lane and feel privileged compared to the other people sitting in traffic, it makes you feel better about the life you lost going to that job that gave you 57 cents more an hour than the Taco Bell worker, because now you're in the toll lane, express lane that the city sold to you and took away more of your freedoms and in the process. But you get to feel like you better than the person next to you that's stuck in traffic. And then only thing that happens is 2 years later, you're both sitting there looking at each other, the people in regular traffic and the people in the express lane traffic, because now the Taco Bell workers done started hustling and they moving packs and they got the extra 57 cents to be in the express lane right along with your dumb ass. And now traffic in all lanes is backed up anyway. And then the city come back and say, let's do it all again. We can fuck you over one more time. Because apparently you ain't learned yet. Let's take a moment here and shout out. This video is partially sponsored by J75 Jump, transformative footwear for transformative leaders, as I like to say. Pasha Pyro approved. I will put the link to the site in the description. Get 15% off your entire order. J75 Jump shoes, boots, dress shoes, and accessories with coupon code Pasha Pyro. Make sure you check them out. All right, let's get back to this conversation. So let me get back here to my notes, right? Because we did that. We covered, they went to educational and infrastructure spending. You guys were celebrating, the suits and the clean faces with the smile and the dentist orthodontic teeth, put in, you guys are so happy, and now you're all mad as fuck because you're like, what happened? Right? Because increased infrastructure may lead to higher taxes. So the argument here is that citizens have less control of their income and resources. So remember, we said earlier, and I'm exaggerating, I'm just being kind of humorous with a random number saying it's 80%, but I mean, you ain't left with much. You know that. So let's just go 80%. Now they taking 84.72% because, we got to pay for the bridge and the service of the bridge. And they'll tell you taxes are necessary to fund public services, which is why they keep giving you more services so they can keep giving you more taxes so that you left with less and less and less. That's why you hate your neighbor. Because you think they're doing something to you. It's easier to blame the person that lives next door to you than the invisible person 500 miles away that's got their foot on your throat. No, you applaud them. You celebrate them. You take photos and smile when they come to town and say that and you met them. You do that dumb shit, don't you? That's why your personal freedom dropped from 13th to 33rd. That's a contributing factor. So in 2013, North Carolina implemented significant tax reforms, reducing quote unquote income tax rates and eliminating some deductions. These reforms aim to stimulate economic activities and attract businesses to the state. Right? So what they just said there was that their focus was attracting businesses to the state because then they could tax them. They're going to get production. They're going to get intra and out of state taxes. They're going to profit off of businesses being in the state. When a business pick you up as a employee, they pay taxes on you. Then you pay taxes from working for them. And it's just a bunch of taxes when a business comes to the state. So they did all this stuff here to attract businesses to the state, but it don't say nothing about your quality of life or personal freedoms. And you were so excited because they said they're going to bring in businesses into the state that you let your personal freedom drop from 13th to 33rd. And now, instead of taking your anger out in the right place, you're going to try and tear up or march on. I mean, you probably didn't want to tear it up, but you went to go march on the football stadium because you taking your anger out on them having a losing record. And the reason they're having a losing record is because the NFL script writers, you didn't know the NFL was scripted. Oh, okay, that's another lesson for you dumbass. All the sports are scripted that you're sitting there watching, and because the state and city is in a losing condition right now, do you think it's any different that they would have the football team matching the experience so that you feel like what you're experiencing is more of a natural thing going on around you? The football team matches the environment they want you to manifest. Now, once you get your asses out there and unplug from the damn society that's sucking you dry and make it a winning state, a winning city, then you will have a winning football team. Stop going asking mom and dad, can you have at 40 fucking 5? You gonna go march on the stadium? What were they supposed to do? Go back and change the last 4 games scores? What was that gonna do? Motivate them to go to the Super Bowl when they already are out of the playoffs? I mean, what the fuck did you expect that was gonna happen? But you invested time, energy, and organization to set up the potential march on the stadium to show how aggravated you are at the team losing. Meanwhile, your personal freedoms fell from 13th to 33rd. And you don't even know. So the argument that the creation of jobs and economic growth is supposed to be positive. However, you could counter that it may lead to increased government intervention in the economy, potentially limiting economic freedom for businesses. See, they're not giving your mom and pop the same subsidies as they're giving the big tech company to come here and set up shop in North Carolina. Why? Because they don't want your family to make money and be prosperous. However, they do offer it to the owner of Apple, as if they needed to be more prosperous. Oh, but it's going to create jobs. Yeah, jobs that you most likely aren't going to get. But your dumb ass saw a suit, a clean shaven, and a smile, and he just felt so warm and fuzzy inside, getting fucked up the ass again. Now, they're going to try and tell you, oh, there's a balance between economic growth and appropriate regulations and blah, 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 blah. I don't know that that's true, because the only things that's truly successful is the shit that the government fighting over that they don't have regulation and control over. Like, you know what I mean? Go to any flea market or hood and look at what's prospering. It's unregulated business. All the regulated businesses are fucking pulling their hair out, going crazy, going under, closing shop, going virtual because they can't afford brick and mortars anymore. Oh, but the clean shaven face said this is what we're supposed to do, Tasha. They said it gives you a competitive advantage. The policies aimed at improving competitiveness and social equality when it comes to business, individual economic freedom. No, it gives them control over who they can say is allowed to even be competitive. Again, why are you cutting deals so that the one that makes $70 billion a day gets to get an incentive on their taxes, but your small mom and pop corner store, your small mom and pop computer service center, your small mom and pop daycare that actually has a curriculum for the kids, they don't get that same luxury. You taxing the hell out of them. You're making it hard on them. You're putting more regulations on them. You're telling them they can't use their full space. They got to have this many. They got to do this. They got to do that. Knowing that they can't afford it. Why? Because you don't control and manipulate it, everything else around them to make sure that it's difficult. Now, until everybody just stand the fuck up and say, fuck it, we're going to do what we want to do. And I mean, when you say that, you know, what a tort is an injury. An injury is wrong or physical injury. Like just being wrong is wronging somebody is also an injury. So a lot of this shit y'all be doing behind people's backs technically could be called a tort claim. And then if they come pop your ass for running their mouth about them, right? Because you thought it was funny, then you be upset. Your family would be upset when they put your ass in the ground, right? You know, when your supervisor was talking that shit and said they're gonna make your life at work a living hell, and then you come into the job and shoot up everybody in the motherfucking place for sitting there watching it happen, letting it be done to you. Oh, they're gonna say you wrong then. But see, when you can see that mental health and emotional intelligence is being utilized against you as a weapon, then you can start treating that bullshit just like you would treat when somebody was coming at you with a knife or a gun. And then what happens when you start responding appropriately to someone who's trying to kill you? Oh, but then they're gonna blame you. Now, you know I ain't the biggest Jay-Z fan, but like he said, y'all respect the one who got shot. I respect the shooter. Stop playing the fucking games. You won't have to fuck around and find out. So share this video with your boss. Or start going to the courthouse and pressing charges on your job for fucking with your mental health. Because your mental health affects your body. And when you die of a heart attack, they already know that some large percentage of people dying with heart attacks and people who have diabetes and all this shit, like we talked about on the Future of Work with Sybil, they already know that the job is killing you. They just hoping you don't find out. So that they'll never have to be held accountable for it. It's kind of like how you get mad, for those of y'all that think y'all are in a whatever y'all call it, a relationship, and you be thinking you mad at your partner because they was cheating on you. You flying around town looking for their ass. I know some of y'all dudes out there had the chick that them flew across town like Superwoman, pulled up, did a donuts. So y'all thought the donuts and stuff just started happening when the Scat Packs and all that shit came out. You ain't never fucked no chick right back in the day. Cause she pulled up in a Hyundai busting 360s on your ass out front. Pull up in your driveway, power slided that motherfucker talking about Shaniqua, Pasha! Shaniqua! See? That's how real dudes know you ain't hitting it right. Cause you don't know nothing about this type of shit. Y'all just got excited about 360s and Dodge Chargers. That's how we know you ain't really real. Going to your volunteer slavery so that you could think you better than the next person in the toll lane. Right? You just got wind of that life. It's new to you. That's why you're so excited. That's why you don't know shit about it. And because you just got there to that point in life, the word attitude means position. So because you just got that position, that attitude in life, you don't know what the attitude of 10 or 15 years down the road is going to be for you. You're still young. You're so young with it. And that's why the word minority really means to be like child in the mind, despite what you thought it meant. Because you're so young with it. Your whole attitude. Everything that's important to you. Football. As a fan. Meanwhile, your personal freedom went from 13th to 33rd. Like, frankly, you should be able to do donuts in the street as long as you don't hurt nobody or damage any property. It's called unlimited liability. See, drivers can't do donuts. A traveler can do what the fuck they want. Because the National Highway Traffic Safety Act applies to drivers, not travelers. So legislative records, right? The mid 2000s saw regulatory adjustments, including change in rate regulations on insurance to promote competition. Here we go with that famous word again. And direct-to-consumer auto sales were facilitated through legislative changes in 2015 to encourage a more efficient marketplace. Now, see, when they stand up there in this in little tailored suit and the clean shaven face that looks like a baby's ass and a smile that makes you feel all safe and warm inside, and tell you that we're going to allow direct-to-consumer auto sales to encourage more efficient marketplace, and you say, oh yeah, that sounds great, like you really care about us, right? but that's only because you didn't look up the fact that proponents argue that the removal of certain, like in the insurance portion of it, rate regulations promote to promote competition, right? The more choices they said you have as a consumer, the more competitive pricing, right? It was seen as a positive to enhance economic freedoms. However, it could lead to lack of consumer protection, exploited customers, perceived freedom, unfair prices, or discriminatory pricing, which is kind of like sounding like what your complaints are now, almost 20 years later. Oh, we can't afford health insurance. We can't afford car insurance. They won't give me the same rates they gave so-and-so. Where else we gonna go to get covered? They won't give me coverage here. I gotta go over here to this company. They don't have the best service when you get into an accident, right? Oh no! But you was applauding the suit guy and the suit chick with the smile and the right? The toll lane charger person, you was on a side like Nationwide. Now, direct to consumer autos. Hold on. I got something for you car lovers out there. Right? Here we go. Or maybe you want to see the car salesman. Let's just go back to the car. Right? So when they said, direct to consumer auto sales could eliminate what they call intermediaries and streamline the car buying process, right? Tesla came out, you started buying directly from Tesla, right? Freedom of consumers to purchase vehicles more efficiently, right? Directly from manufacturers, cost savings, all these little stickers they put on there, so vote for me, and you went out there, registered your ass to become property of the United States just so you could check a box. They didn't count anyway because you thought your vote mattered, but it really didn't. They was going to put in who they wanted anyway, regardless. All because of your emotional attachments to beliefs without knowledge got you thinking you really a part of something you ain't got shit to do with. Now, the negative perspective of that is critics might express concerns because the traditional leadership model could limit choices for consumers. I mean, eliminating the traditional dealership model could limit choices for consumers, because when you go back to why it was set up like that to begin with, right? Whether you agree with it or not, again, here we go with shiny suit man again, right? The reason that was set up was for consumer protection to begin with. So the advocates were arguing back then that the dealership model provided an additional layer of consumer protection. See, dealerships were seen as local entities that could address consumer concerns, provide support and for warranty issues, and handle recalls and service needs. And I know you're like, well, that's what we got. But guess what? When you make it direct to sale to customer, the big bank of the auto industry take little bank of the local dealership guys, because now the people start buying directly from the manufacturer, trying to save $15 a month on a car note. Really, that's it. You're gonna save $15. I mean, I'm being exaggerating, of course. I'll tell you when I have data that's true, but right now I'm exaggerating. You're gonna save $15 on the car payment, but you're gonna shut down in the process all of the mom and pop, whether they are small mom and pop or whether they are someone that started off as your neighbor and grew a small empire of car dealerships. They're gonna all close down. Not say all of them, but let's just say majority of them closed down. Now, where you get your car fixed at? When you talk to the mechanics, they're telling you they're making them less and less service mechanic friendly. Okay, so now if you get rid of the dealerships, eventually you're putting yourself in a position where you're at the mercy of the manufacturer. See, so the market competition portion of that was the dealership model contended that it fostered healthy competition among local dealerships, right? Preventing a monopoly by any single manufacturer. So the franchise system, right, would actually be supportive of local independent entrepreneurs so they could establish and operate their own businesses by selling vehicles. So now you're killing the entrepreneurs, you're killing the Consumers' Choice Awards, and you're creating monopoly opportunity for the manufacturers and the car dealerships as local businesses often held political influence locally as well too. So if you look at the lobbying system, right? If you take out the representation for the small guys, the local dealerships, your next door neighbor that's selling cars for a living on a small lot on the block, they don't have no one to speak for them now. So they shut down the car dealership. So now when your son or daughter gets their opportunity to, let's say, get their license, if that's the route you take with them, which is nothing wrong with, you just gotta know when to say what, who you really are versus who they think you are. And they go to get their first car, that car lot that's been servicing the community for 2 decades has a good chance of not being there anymore because Shiny Suit Man showed up again and told you could save $15 on a monthly car payment on a $140,000 truck that you only haul around $75 worth of groceries in twice a month. You just destroyed the community's infrastructure and economy and ability to sustain itself so that you could save $15. But you don't look at it like that. I mean, I know we do here at YNet7, but this video is for those that we're gonna share it with after, and encourage them to like and subscribe because we need sustainable communities. Right? Who you worshiping when you do that? When you give your life away like that? How many people out there talking about they, how real they keep it, thinking they ain't sold out? Let's go back to the map. See? So if you think any of this conversation don't affect you, I want you to look at this map that we started off the conversation with. The rankings of freedom of the states. And if you see a division, if you see any separation on that map that says one state is more free than another state, then I need you to know that you are failing at life. I don't care how many Benzes or G-Wagons you got. I don't care how many debt notes you got in the bank. I don't care how many 1,000 square feet you think the home, that you have, that's not yours anyway, is. I just want you to know, if nobody else has told you, you're failing at life. If you're not working to make this map all one color, all one number, there shouldn't be any separation if what you believe. See, this is how you know you're insane when you say you're a United States citizen. Now, some of you guys are United States citizens, but you act with an American mentality, and nobody ever just told you to start calling yourself American because you think like a true human, like a true natural person. But for the other people, this is how you know you're practicing insanity. When you run around here talking about democracy and freedom, and you know we not back in slavery days no more, and this, that, and the other, because your map doesn't show equality, and at the root of it all is a fake ass. It's literally fake. That's what the word fiat means. Fiat currency. And you wonder why Posh is saying we have to get rid of the currency and not replace it with Bitcoin, but actually truly have a free market. You running around here talking about a free market and ain't shit free about it. That's how you see how the insanity is just right there in your face. But when somebody tell it to you like that has a beard, you just want to, avoid me, which is cool. Right? They want to avoid you when you start talking the truth to them. They waiting for shiny suit man with the clean shaven face cutting themselves apart to come and tell them, because now you see that the insanity factors match each other, right? Right? It's insane to just sit there and it's you know what I mean? The same smile that they have on their face when they lying to you about how the policies are going to help you, that you're going to find out 15 to 20 years later you're full of complaints about the effects of because you didn't think it through in the beginning, is the same smile that the mass shooters have when they gunning down 275 people at your job. It's the same smile. It's the same damage to the community. I would wonder how quickly things would change if more days you woke up each month with large corporations, headquarters, remote sites, having the whole workplace blown up because of the mental abuse that business orchestrates on the people, because they're treating them like replaceable, exhaustible resources like batteries instead of human beings. How quickly would things change? But we don't need to take it that far if we just exercise that we know that freedom is not where we're at right now. I don't care if you think you're white, black, Chinese, whatever. And then we assign the destination. We sit down collectively and define what freedom will be for the next generations. And then we implement that shit. And I mean, you got to stand on it. And the insanity people who are going to gaslight you and call you crazy and want to get in the way, I don't think they would want to be in the way of the future. Once you realize how important the future really is for you to take control of today in your local community. Because apparently for some time now, someone been lying to you. And it ain't me. And your personal freedom in North Carolina done went from 13 to 33. But you worried about the football team. And it's probably something similar as far as the practice of insanity in each one of these states on the map. And I'm sure if we go and look at number 1, New Hampshire, they still fucked up too. They just number 1 closest to freedom. Put it in the comments below. What's one thing you would like to see changed in your state? I'm Pasha Pablo. Thank you for tuning.